Today I'm going to show you how to make this rainbow in lace. It uses relatively simple techniques and you can work it in classic rainbow colours with a black or white edging, or you can work it with a contrast colour running through it as I have here, or you can work it perhaps in a pastel version. And in this case I've added a wire round the edge to stiffen it. The lace is worked in DMC Special Dentelle 80 thread. For each of the main colour stripes you need 2 pairs, each wound with 1 metre of thread. And for the worker pairs, for the ground stitches, you need 1.5 meters of either the same colour thread as your stripes or a contrast colour, black or white, or a colour of your choice. If you're working the rainbow's stripes in the same colour as the grounds, then you will need 2 pairs of either black or white for your outside edge. I've decided to work this rainbow in these lovely pastel shades, and I'm using a white pair for the edge pair. So let's get started. To start this piece, I'm going to place a pin not into the end pinhole but into the next pinhole along. On that pin I'm going to hang my 2 white pairs, which will become my edge pair, and I'm going to hang the 2 dark pink pairs in the middle, so they're all hanging open like a rainbow around the pin. These 2 pink pairs are the pairs wound with 1 metre of thread on each. I'm going to twist the right hand pairs twice, and normally I would work the 2 left hand pairs in a cloth stitch and 2 twists to make the edge stitch for the false footing. However, if I do that, this pink pair will end up at the top of my pillow and I want it to stay in position here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work a no colour change edge stitch to keep it in position. So the no colour change edge stitch is across the middle 2, twist both pairs, across the middle 2, twist both pairs. So as you can see, my pairs are linked around the pin, but my 2 dark pink pairs are in the middle where I want them to stay. So I'm going to pin to the next pinhole along underneath that edge pair, and now I need to hang in my dark pink worker. This is the pair that's wound with 1.5 meters of thread, and also the orange worker for the ground. Again, I need to manipulate these threads so that they go where I want them to go. So I'm going to lay the orange across the red, and I'm going to lift the red so that I'm linking the 2 threads together. Then I'm going to hang this around the pin with the orange pair on the right and the dark pink pair on the left. My pins are a bit close together there. Twist the right hand pair, so the orange pair, twice, and then I'm going to work a no colour change edge stitch with the pink and the edge pair. And then before I leave this pin, I'm going to work with the pink and the orange pairs. I'm going to work a cloth stitch and twist, and that puts the pink back next to its passives and leaves the orange on the left ready to go on to the left hand side. I'm going to pin in the next pinhole, and on that pin I'm going to hang my 2 orange passives. Twist the right hand pair twice, work a no colour change edge stitch with the left hand pair. Pin in the next pinhole, and this one is the pin to hang in my 2 yellow passive pairs. So again, the passive pairs are the shorter ones and the ground stitch pairs are the longer ones. Twist the right hand pair twice, no colour change edge stitch with the left hand pair. Place a pin in the next pin along, and this will be the next set of ground stitches or ground threads, and this will be my yellow and my green, which will be the next colour along. So link them as I did before, hang that round the pin with the green on the right and the yellow on the left. Twist the green pair twice and work my no colour change stitch with the yellow. Cross, twist, twist, cross, twist, twist. Then before I leave the pin, cloth stitch and twist the green and yellow together. This puts the yellow next to its passives and the green ready to work on. You can see that the tension is a little bit wobbly at this stage. The bobbins do tend to have a bit of a life of their own at the very start. Place a pin in the next pinhole along, and I'm going to hang my two green passives on here. Again, twist the right hand pair twice and my no colour change edge stitch with the left hand pair and the edge. Pin in the next pin along. This is my next set of passives, so this is the blue, twist the right pair twice and no colour change stitch with the left hand pair. Again, pin in the next pinhole along, and this is my next ground stitch pin. So I'm going to link a blue pair and a purple pair. Hang those round the pin with the blue to the left and the purple to the right. Twist the purple pair twice, no colour change edge stitch with the blue. Then before I leave the pin, cross stitch and twist to bring the blue through to sit with its passives. Pin in the next pinhole along and hang on my purple pairs. Twist the right hand pair twice and the left hand pair in my no colour change edge stitch to the left. My next pin in, hang on my two pink passives. This is the lighter of the two pinks. Twist the right hand pair twice and no colour change edge stitch with the left hand pair. Now we've got to the last pinhole and we've got our final pair of bobbins to hang in, which is the pink ground workers. So I'm going to hang a support pin, I'm going to hang my final pair on there, and at this last pinhole I'm going to work a half stitch, pin, then half stitch and twist to close. Now all my pairs are in, I can start working the rows of cloth stitch trails and grounds to fill in the rainbow. So starting with my first pink pair on the edge, I'm going to take it in cloth stitch through the two pink passives and twist it once. Then I'm going to go to the other side of the purple pairs and I'm going to pick up the purple ground pair and I'm going to bring that back in cloth stitch through the passives and twist. This is where the two ground stitches meet, or the ground pairs meet, and I'm going to work cloth stitch and twist, pin, cloth stitch and twist. It's important to work that stitch in cloth stitch and twist because if you work it in half stitch, then the pink would have headed off in this direction and the purple would have headed off in this direction, and it wouldn't have stayed with its passives. So we need to keep it with its passives. I'm going to take the pink through my 2 pink passives to the edge, twist it twice because we're at the edge, and I'm going to work my no colour change edge stitch with the white pair. So cross, twist, twist, cross, twist, twist, and pin. Then I'm going to bring the pink pair back through the 2 passives in cloth stitch, twist once, and they will be ready for the next row. So working across to the right, I'm going to pick up the purple and I'm going to take it through the next 2 pairs in cloth stitch and twist once, and I'm going to leave that there. Then I'm going to pick up the blue and I'm going to work that through 2 pairs to the right in cloth stitch, twist once, and leave that there. And then we're at the next pinhole that I need to work, which is this ground stitch here, which is where the blue and the green ground pairs meet. So my green ground pair is still sat over at the right hand side here, so I'm going to bring that through in cloth stitch through the 2 green passives and twist it once. Now I can work my ground stitch, so cloth stitch and twist, pin, cloth stitch and twist, and the blue pair will carry on to the left. So cloth stitch the blue pair through 2 to the left and twist. When it gets through there, the purple one should be waiting, the purple ground stitch should be waiting because we brought it through the 2 passives previously, and I can work my ground stitch here. So cloth stitch and twist, pin, cloth stitch and twist. Carry on with the purple pair, so we're working along the row to the left. Take the purple pair through its 2 passives and twist once. Now we come to the pink pair, which we'd already worked back through the passives, so that's waiting for us, and we can do our ground stitch here, pin, cloth stitch and twist, and then the pink pair will continue in cloth stitch through to the edge, twist twice, no colour change edge stitch, and pin. Then we'll bring it back through the 2 passives in cloth stitch, twist once and leave them there, and they will be waiting for the next row. So now we're going to head back to the right through the row, taking each ground pair in turn through its passives. So the purple will go through the 2 passives there, then the blue pair will go through its 2 passives there, again all in cloth stitch, and the green through its 2 passives here, and then the yellow will work through its 2 passives here, waiting to do our next row, which starts with the orange and the yellow. So bringing through my orange pairs, and I'm going to bring the orange pair on the right hand side, which is my ground one, through to the left through 2 pairs in cloth stitch and twist once, where it will meet with the pair of yellow that's come through those 2 pair passives there. Cloth stitch and twist, pin, cloth stitch and twist. Then we're going to go back with the yellow pair, we're going to work back towards the left, so we'll go through 2 passives and twist, and it will meet with the green that's waiting for it. Cloth stitch and twist, pin, cloth stitch and twist. Take the green through its passives and twist once, and then the blue one will be waiting because we'd previously brought it through its passives there. Cloth stitch and twist, pin, cross stitch and twist. Carrying on to the left, so take that through the 2 passives. The purple will be waiting, already having come through its passives. Cross stitch and twist, pin, cloth stitch and twist. Onto the left, purple through its passives and twist where it will meet the pink that has already come back through its passives and is waiting. Cloth stitch and twist, pin, cloth stitch and twist. Then the pink will come through its passives, twist twice, make up our edge stitch, no colour change edge stitch there, and pin, and then back through, ready and waiting for the next row. So 2 pairs in cloth stitch, then twist. Now I'm going to work back to the right hand side, getting the pairs into the right order for when we work the next row. So I'm going to pick up the purple ground pair, take that through 2 to the right and twist, pick up the blue ground pair, come through 2 to the right and twist, pick up the green ground pair, again through 2 to the right and twist, pick up the yellow ground pair, through 2 to the right and twist, the orange ground pair comes through its 2 passives to the right and twist, and then we come to the final set of pairs, which are our dark pink. Before we can start the row, we need to take the dark pink ground pair through the 2 passives to the outside, so cloth stitch to the right. Then we're at the edge, so I'm going to twist those twice, and then we need to do our edge stitch. Before we do our edge stitch, I'm going to pop a pin in that pinhole we missed right at the beginning, and I'm going to give the white pair an extra twist, and that just supports it round that corner. So now we're going to work our edge stitch again in a no colour change edge stitch, and I'm going to put an extra twist on the white pair after I've worked through it, because this line of pinholes are a bit further apart than the ones on the inside edge. So cross twist twist, cross twist twist, extra twist on the outside pair and pin. If you feel it's still not sitting the way you'd like it to, you can always add a further twist. So leaving that there, we're going to return back through the 2 pairs in cloth stitch with the red and twist once, and we're ready to start our next row. So the red and the orange, or the dark pink and the orange, cloth stitch and twist, pin, cloth stitch and twist. Then the orange pair carries on through its passives in cloth stitch, twist twice, where the yellow ground pair is waiting for it. You can see we've brought it through those 2 pairs there. Cloth stitch and twist, pin, cloth stitch and twist, cloth stitch through 2 to the left, twist once, and bring in our green pairs. Work the ground stitch, cloth stitch and twist, pin, cloth stitch and twist, work through the green ground pairs, or passive pairs should I say, and bring the blue pairs in. Cloth stitch and twist for the ground stitch, pin, cloth stitch and twist, and take the blue pairs forward. Bring the purple in, cloth stitch and twist, cloth stitch and twist to close, and carry on with the purple to meet with the pink. Cloth stitch and twist the 2 ground pairs, pin, cross stitch and twist to close, and continue with the pink through its passives. Twist twice at the end, work our no colour change edge stitch, cross twist, twist, cross twist, twist, and pin up. Return through the 2 pink passives, twist the worker pair, the ground pair, and leave. And then again we're going to work through, taking the ground pairs through the passives until we reach the other side, and we're ready to start with the dark pink all over again. So through the purple pairs to the right and twist once. And as you're going back, it's a good way to have a bit of a sanity check, make sure that you've not got any glaring mistakes, and to tension up those passives as you work through them. And the green pair through, so you can see I'm just tensioning those up, working through them, and they'll be ready for when I work the next row. The yellow, twist, and the orange, and finally the dark pink. Twist twice, work out edge stitch, cross twist, twist, cross twist, twist with an extra one on the outside, and pin. Then back through those 2 dark pink pairs, and then this pair we can now then carry on and work the next row, and keep working in that way until we're down to the bottom end, and then I shall show you how to finish it off. Okay, so I've reached the end of the fan. I've worked all the available pinholes, and where I've completed the final set of ground stitches, I've then taken the ground workers out through their respective pairs of passives. So now we're ready to do the finishing line. So I'm going to go to the left hand side where my pink worker, my pink ground stitch worker has come through the passives, and I've worked this edge stitch here. So the first thing I'm going to do, because I want to finish this with a false footing or a variation on the false footing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually undo this stitch, because this pair coming through the pink passives is kind of surplus to requirements at this stage. So I'm going to untwist that, I'm going to undo that stitch, and then I'm just going to lay that pair to the back of the pillow. I'm going to come back and tie that off at the end. I'm going to pop an extra twist on that edge pair. So now I'm going to come down and I'm going to work the first 2 pairs to finish off. So I've got my 2 pink passives. I'm going to put 2 twists on the left hand pair, and I'm going to place a pin between the 2 pairs of passives. So this is actually my edge pin. I'm going to work my no colour change edge stitch with the left hand pair. So cross, twist, twist, cross, twist, twist, and tension up. Now I'm going to tie this pair off with its partner pair of passives, starting with the 2 middle threads, then with the 2 outer threads, to finish off that row. So with the 2 central threads, I'm going to start off with a surgeon's knot. So I'm going to cross right over left, and then I'm going to take the thread around the bobbin a second time and pull up. What this does is it puts a little bit more purchase on the knot, so that if you were to do a standard reef knot, then the first movement of the reef knot would be a little bit flexible and it'd be moving around. So by doing that extra turn, it's nice and tight up there and it's not going to just come undone. So then I'm going to finish off as if I was doing a reef knot and a half. So left over right and under, then right over left and under, then I'm going to lay that pair to the back of the pillow and do the same with its partner. So surgeon's knot, so right over left and under, and then another wind round, tension that up, then left over right, and right over left and under. Lay that pair back, tension up my edge pair, and move on to the next 2 pairs of passives. So this is the 2 purple pairs. Again, I'm going to pop a pin in the pinhole that sits between them. I'm going to twist the left hand pair twice and work my no colour change edge stitch. And then I'm going to tie these 2 threads off with the partner pair. So with the inside 2 threads, I'll do my surgeon's knot, finishing with a reef knot and a half, and lay back. So right over left, an extra turn under the bobbin or around the bobbin, left over right, and right over left. When I get further along the line, I'll try and zoom out a little bit so that you can see that knot a bit more clearly. So the next 2 pairs we're working are the ground threads. So we've got the purple one coming from the left and the blue one that's coming through the blue passives. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work the ground stitch before I tie them off. So I'm going to do cloth stitch and twist and pin between them in the next pinhole. So that's this one here. Then work my no colour change edge stitch with my blue pair and the edge pair, and then I'm going to tie off. Let's try and get a little bit more room here. Hopefully you can see that a bit better. So I'm going to tie off my inner 2 bobbins, so right over left, and do that surgeon's knot. So an extra turn around that bobbin, tie up, then left over right and right over left, lay that pair back, and then tie off the other 2 bobbins. So right over left for the surgeon's knot, left over right and right over left. The next pair is the next 2 pairs to work out are the 2 blue pairs of passives, and I shall just see if I can zoom out so that I can show you that a little bit more clearly. Okay. So twist the left hand pair twice and pop a pin between the 2 pairs. Work my no colour change edge stitch, and then I'm going to tie the middle 2 bobbins off. So right over left and an extra turn around the bobbin and tie, pull up, left over right and right over left, and lay that back. Tie off the other pair, I'm trying to make sure I pull the knot so that I'm not tying the second knot over the top of the original one. So right over left with an extra turn. That's not good, I've broken a thread. So what I'm going to do here, they are quite firm because they're coming from the edge and from the passive pairs. It's unlikely that they're going to come away, but I'm just going to tie that off with a pair that had already been tied in. It's not ideal, but there's not a lot else I could have done at that point. So my next 2 pairs are my green passives. I'm going to pin between, twist the left hand pair, work my no colour change edge stitch and tie off the middle 2. So right over left, round an extra turn. See if I've managed not to break this one. Left over right and under, right over left and under, lay that back and tie the other pair. Right over left, extra turn for my surgeon's knot, left over right and right over left. If you're very worried about if you've got where I had that break, then the tiniest dab of fray check might be a solution. I don't like it. I trust that enough that it's not going to come undone. So now I've got my green pair, which is a ground pair, and that's going to meet with the yellow ground pair that's coming through the 2 yellow passives here. So again, I'm going to work my cloth stitch and twist, pin in that pinhole, tension that up. Then with my yellow I'll work through and do my edge stitch, cross twist twist, cross twist twist, and then I shall tie that off with the green pair that's come to meet it. So surgeon's knot, left over right and right over left. Oops. Unhook from the pins and lay that back. Make sure that's out of the way. Surgeon's knot. Left over right and right over left. Now we're down to the 2 yellow pairs of passives. So again, with the passives, I'm going to place the pin between them. And you must remember to place this pin, because if you work your edge stitch and tie up without it, it's going to pull a dink in the edge. So no colour change edge stitch, remembering I'd put 2 twists on that before I did the no colour change edge stitch, and I'm going to tie this off. So surgeon's knot, finishing off the remainder as if you were doing a reef knot and a half. Lay that back and tie the other pair. Again, surgeon's knot, making sure it doesn't tie over the top of that previous knot. Lay that back. So we now have our 2 pairs of peach passives, or orange. Place my pin between the 2, twist that left pair twice, work my no colour change edge stitch and tie that off. let's undo that, because that's going to, having caught round that pin, that's going to loosen up my original knot. So let's undo that second knot, tighten up the first one. That's it, and carry on. It's tricky to get a really neat edge here because you've got lots of ends, you're going to have lots of knots, and there's not really anywhere to hide. Okay, so this will be our remaining orange passive, our ground pair, and they're going to meet with the dark pink. So again, we'll do cloth stitch and twist, put the pin in between, work my no colour change edge stitch, and tie that off. Last two pairs of passives here, twist the left hand pair twice, pin between them, my no colour change edge stitch, and tie these ones off, so the middle two first. And now we're at the corner. I'm going to put a pin in the corner pinhole, and then we have our two edge pairs, and I'm just going to tie those off in the same way that I've done all the others. So the middle two first with my surgeon's knot, and that's all the pairs tied off, except you may remember we left that pair at the beginning, our very first round pair for our light pink. So I'm just going to push these pins down so that I can see what I'm doing, take the twists off, and then I'm just going to tie this here, and the knot will sit up against those passives rather than sticking out beyond the end of your rainbow. So your surgeon's knot, finishing the remainder of a reef knot and a half. So all that remains to do now is to cut off your threads. And what I tend to do is cut the threads long and then unpin the lace, because the pins can get in the way of seeing closely enough to cut on the knots. So I'm going to cut that long, then I'm going to unpin, and I'm going to trim off those knots close, because when I can get to them. So here it is, unpinned and off the pillow, and I've got this pair of very fine embroidery scissors. You can see they've got a really nice curved blade that you can get from embroidery suppliers. I will try and find a link and put it in the details below the video for you. I particularly like these ones because when you're cutting a knot, that curve just lifts the tip of the blade, so you're less likely to cut through the knot. So I'm just working along, trimming each end as close as I can to the knot. All along the row. See, I'm picking one thread at a time so that I can get closer to the knot than if I was cutting the two threads together even. Always a very nervous moment. You don't want to ruin all your hard work by cutting through a knot and having a fluffy end, because nobody wants a fluffy end, do they? And then the last two white, the very corner. And there we are. I'm just going to press those little knots so they sit behind. If you were mounting this onto a piece of fabric, then you could leave the ends long and then just take each one through to the back of the fabric. But once they're cut close, actually it's not too bad. Give that a little tug to straighten it out. It's never going to be as perfect as the start. But there you are. One little rainbow. I hope you enjoy the pattern.